Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. Nike Vomero 18, and you already know where I got this. I got it on the Supwell app. No, I didn't get this on the Supwell app. It just came out. I got it from my local running store, Charlotte Running Company. However, I did see some Vomero 18s listed early on the Supwell app. I've also seen people posting links to Pegasus Premiums on the Supwell app. If you don't know what the Supwell app is, it's my community. We have a buy, sell, and trade marketplace. We also have the best group of hobby jogger, aerobic sickos out there, people getting after it, people sharing their runs, their progress. You can ask and answer training questions if you're looking for a supportive community to train for your next race, or to just have somebody around you as you're on this beautiful journey of mileage. Make sure you're on the Supwell app. It's $5 a month. We have discount codes to Running Warehouse, so if you want to pick up any race shoes like the Saucony Endorphin Elite, let me give you 3 great deals right here. Bonus 3 deals. Saucony Endorphin Elite, that's $220 right now. You can get that for under $200 with our Running Warehouse discount code. Nike Vaporfly 3, that's $180. You can get that for $160 with their discount code. And the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2, you can get that for, $140 with our discount code. That's a sleeper. So free game right there. Make sure you're on the Supwell app for some deals, discounts, and the camaraderie of mileage. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was highly requested. So many people ask me to get this thing. It's funny because people love to see the Nike shoes, and people are so excited about these Nike shoes, but then they also love to just completely trash them. The Pegasus Premium is not a real shoe. It's weird. It's one of those weird things. But yeah, I got this at Charlotte Running Company as soon as it came out yesterday. Charlie actually picked it up for me. Luckily, there's a running store right next to Mason School. If you're going to pick this up, make sure to use my Running Warehouse link. Sometimes, though, I can't even use my own Running Warehouse link because I know I need to give you these insights right away, so it can't wait. This was an emergency review. We had to go to Charlotte Running Company to get it. But Nike Vomero 18. Did you know Nike Vomero 17? Man. It's 6:13 a.m. Reevesy's awake. I have to wake up at 4:30 to be able to get anything done before people are awake. But Nike Vomero 17, did you know that this was one of my favorite daily trainers? I call this the most underrated shoe of 2023. It was a really good shoe. Comfortable, top layer of ZoomX here, bottom layer of Cushlon, which is one of the best training foams. Really comfortable upper, nice durable outsole. I took this to 200 miles, and then I didn't retire it, but I just had other things to run and other things to test. But this was solid. It was one of those workhorse shoes that just reminded me why I like running. It reminded me of the benefits of high mileage training. Every time I ran in it, I would think of Arthur Lydiard. I think this is the type of shoe Arthur Lydiard would have run in. Comfortable, gets the job done. The thing is, the reason a lot of people don't like Nike shoes, and even one thing that came through here, is the heel is so much chunkier than the forefoot. It has that 10 millimeter drop, so you can see in the back, it's a max cushion shoe. In the front, man, you barely have any protection compared to newer shoes and compared to lower drop shoes. For example, look at this. Look at the difference between the Nova Blast cushion on the front versus the Vomero 17. So Nike is actually keeping the 10 millimeter drop, but reducing the price. They've rejiggered their whole lineup in 2025 so that they only have 3 silos or names of shoes. They have the Vomero line, which is all about cushioning. They have the Pegasus line, which is they're saying it's all about responsiveness or bounce. And then you have the Structure line, which is all about stability. So the Infinity, that's going to go into the Structure line. The Vomero is now, the Invincible is going to come into this line. You have the Vomero Premium, which looks like it's a combination of a Glycerin Max and a Prime X Strung. And then you have the Pegasus Plus, and the Pegasus Premium. So Vomero with that new structure is down at $150. Let's open up this bad boy and see. Bada boom. Oh, that's the receipt. Bada bang. Dude, and the one thing is, people love to talk about Nike, right? People love to say Nike this, Nike that. But they make some really good looking shoes. They also make some really heavy shoes. Oh my goodness, this feels heavy. I don't understand how Nike continues to make just such heavy shoes. But key changes here, they've gone up in stack height a lot. People are saying that this is the highest or tallest Nike shoe ever made. They're keeping the dual foam structure, but instead of Cushlon, they have React X. So Zoom X and React X, and you can see that on the back here. The one thing is they still have all those overlays on here. They still have so much padding on the upper. This seems like a super heavy, robust shoe, man. But yeah, Zoom X on the top, Cushlon on the bottom. Dual foam, in my experience, is really hard to mess up. That was one of the reasons that the Vomero 17 was such a great shoe. And man, I can feel it's so much heavier in the Vomero 18. They've also added a lot of padding on the upper. This seems like a super comfort-oriented, almost max cushion shoe. The weird thing is with that 10 millimeter drop, you can see up here, it tapers super aggressively. So you're actually not getting that much in the forefoot. And it looks like you're almost getting from the tip of the forefoot here. I don't know how they measure 10 millimeter drop, but it seems like you're getting 3 times as much stack in the back as the forefoot. Now, rubber, you still have that awesome Vomero rubber coverage that's typical across all Nikes. It even seems like a nubbier. It's like a trail outsole here with some lugs. Scooped out bottom here. Decently wide base. Now, Nikes are known to be long and narrow, mostly in the toe box and the upper. They're known to be long and narrow, but this base looks wide. And this also just looks like a classic Nike back, the shoe here. This looks like what's that shoe? The Air Monarch. This almost looks like the Air Monarch in the back. And I've got to say, in hand here, this looks, usually shoes look better in person. This doesn't look that impressive in person. I called the store and I had them set this aside. I asked them if they could, and they said they had this all white or the white and the green, white and the Volt. Maybe that would have been better. This just looks okay. This just looks like a Nike. A Nike is a Nike is a Nike. Yeah, tongue is super padded. Oh my goodness. Let's see, insole, decently soft. But yeah, the kicker here is they've stuffed this midsole with a lot of Zoom X. Pushing it in, it feels not the softest. So we'll have to see, man. Nike has this pattern of calling things Zoom X and then having it feel nothing like the Zoom X that we fell in love with in the Vaporfly and the Alphafly. So it's possible that's what the case is here. It's possible this is going to be a lot firmer. But hey, I don't mind firm all the time. So even if this is firm, it could still be a solid daily train. The Mag Max was on the firmer side. Some of my favorite shoes ever. Original Ultra Boost, even the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3, which I took to 350 miles, was on the firmer side. So whether this is soft or firm, doesn't matter. I'm just hoping it has some bounce, because what we expect from Zoom X is comfort and bounce. So with that, let's see how much this thing actually weighs, bro. You gotta bring in the scales that they weigh the whales with today. That's definitely heavier than the Super Blast. Because they're actually self-sufficient, because Charlie put out muffins last night, so they're able to grab their own muffins in there. All right, moment of truth. This feels like 340 grams. It's at least 325 grams. Yeah, 326 grams. That's a heavy shoe. So for some context here, this has protection. What it's looking to do is be a fun, bouncy, everyday running shoe with some comfort. That's exactly what a shoe like the Nova Blast is designed to do, which is 10 gram or $10 cheaper, and it's also going to be significantly lighter. Let's look at this. 271 grams. So this is the thing with Nike. Weight isn't everything. It's just confusing to me why they don't try to make shoes lighter weight. Now, Nike's also known for insane durability, and you're going to get that from all the rubber. You're going to get that maybe from the foam here, but this foam, it just feels super dense and heavy. Now, maybe that's going to be a good thing for casual wear, and maybe this is going to be the new shoe that we see on the sidelines of every NFL coach, perhaps, but it's just so much heavier than what's on the market. Now, my new love affair here, the new shoe that I've been absolutely loving is the Mizuno Neo Zen, also $150. And look at this, 250 grams, 256.5, with what looks like a similar stack height in a brand new foam compound here. In a brand like Mizuno, they're making an effort to crack into the performance market. So they've done that. It's just these little things that it seems Nike doesn't feel they have to make an effort, and they don't, because everyone is going to buy it. People already probably bought it on the first day and are now just watching this review to hear me validate their purchasing decision. I don't know if I'm going to validate it or not, because it depends how it runs, but I just wish Nike would try to put a competitive shoe on paper on the market. The thing is, they dropped the price, so I can't complain too much. It's rare that a brand will drop the price, and it looks like they're giving us more ZoomX, so theoretically this could have gone up to 170 from 160 or even 180. Knowing Nike, they could have used this to replace the Invincible. Looks like this even has more foam in it than the Invincible, so let's actually throw the Invincible on the scale here. Invincible is such a fun shoe, man. It's been slept on and not at the top of people's list over the past few years because it released so long ago, but this thing is 300.5 grams. The ZoomX in here, and this is my point about us not knowing what we're getting, this is so much softer. You can just see me push it in here and it compress versus the Vomero ZoomX. It's so dense. Can you hear how light and bouncy that is versus that thing hits the ground with the dod. Invincible. This is more of a pop. I think there's more of a pop to this. Alright, breakfast time. What's that?
Were you just slamming shoes on the floor?
Yeah, I was slamming shoes on the floor.
Why didn't you do that?
It was a test. It was for science. Bro, this is ridiculous, man. It's 6:58. It just turned 6:59. They're already in the Jeep waiting for me to go. I did have breakfast. I had 3 of these things. They're absolutely wild. Ira wants to listen to his thing. His thing's on the floor. Charlie says no driving and filming. Yeah. Yeah, Fridays are my drive to school day, so we're going to do that and then be back. So here's the thing. These are the shoes that I wear absolutely everywhere. These are the most comfortable shoes. Brooks Ghost Masks. They're just Bruce Ghost Masks. They're just simple. They get the job done. Man, the rocker is so nice, so smooth, and it's a lower drop. That's the thing with the Nike 10mm drop. It can be kind of aggressive. It really can. It can put you up on your toes. It can just feel like not what I want to be wearing every day. But then they look so good. So we'll have to see. But quick school drop off and then we can be back. Finish out the overview and get some miles in.
I'm not buckled and
It's another beautiful day in the hill. What do you think, Mace?
yeah.
Is winter over? You said 3 more weeks of winter?
Yep.
Looks like it's over to me. Yeah, I guess it's 40 right now. It's still chilly. Alright, we're back here. We're back outside. We have to modify things. It gets tricky. So this is the thing. My office doesn't have a real door. It has these weird French door things. So unless I wake up on the days where I drive Mace, unless I wake up super early, I can't get my analysis done inside. It's a problem. On the other days, they leave the house in the morning, but they're just in there doing shenanigans right now. All right. I want to throw some other shoes on the scale here. Let's brighten it up a touch because people are asking me, how does it compare to the Glycerin Max? How does it compare to the Mag Max? So for some context here, the Glycerin Max is 331 grams. That is heavier than the Vomero 18. Puma Mag Max, 320.5 grams. The thing is, Nike has the Pegasus Premium and the coming soon Vomero Premium, which would be going more up against these. So I would really put this up against the Neo Zen Nova Blast category of shoes, the fun daily trainers or the cushioned, comfortable daily trainers, not the Super Max Stack shoes. But 320 grams, that is a heavy shoe. Let's hit the QA check real quick. So left shoe was 326. Let me go grab the right one. It's inside still. So right shoe is 323. Not bad. 3-gram difference. That's good QA. Let's hit him with the stack check. All right, this is a real moment of truth right here because Nike is saying this is their tallest training shoe ever. I've heard it's 46 millimeters. Some people are saying 44 millimeters. Other people are saying, let's see what it is in my size 10.5. 44. There we go. 44.5. That's on the right side. Let's take the left side measurement here. Also, I've been thinking about putting these measurements on the Supwell website. So if you don't know, go to supwell.io and then click on Best New Shoes. That will take you to the shoe database, and we have all the measurements in, but I'm just using Running Warehouse's measurements in for stack, for weight, which is the size 9. I think it might be more useful if we use our own lab measurements here, and it could be cool because then I could update and input stack at 0 miles, stack at 50 miles. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and we can work on it. But, ooh, would you look at that? Left side, 43 millimeters. So there is some variation in stack height here. Let's compare that to the Super Max Stack shoes first, because people are wondering how does it compare. So Glycerin Max stack of this guy, 41. So out of the box here, now this Glycerin Max does have 100 miles, but out of the box, the Vomero 18 is taller than a 100-mile Glycerin Max. Let's see, Puma Mag Max. Bang. Right around 40, 39.7. So it's in the same neighborhood as the Glycerin Max and Mag Max. If you compare that to the Invincible, let's see. I'm actually not sure because I don't think I've thrown the Invincible in the Stackerator 5000. Wow, Invincible is low compared to those two. This is how much shoes have changed since the Invincible came out. Invincible is 36.6 millimeters. And again, it's a very soft shoe. I don't think it could be above 40 and retain that softness. Now, Nova Blast 5, this thing has 105 miles on it. This is coming in at 37 millimeters in the back with 100 miles, the lower weight. Neo Zen, I actually just did this the other day. I'm not going to put it in. I'll just tell you. This is around 44 millimeters in the back, which is crazy. I just did a review of this where I ran a 20-mile day in it, 24 miles in 24 hours. This is my favorite daily trainer right now. It's right up there with the Puma Mag Max. For me, it's soft, it's bouncy, it's fun. This is a really great shoe, and it has a lot. It evades all those trade-offs, right? It's lightweight, but it's still cushioned. It's bouncy, but decently stable. So Nike has some really tough competition for people who are buying these shoes to run in. The thing with the Vomero is people buy it to walk around. People buy it as a sneaker, a lifestyle shoe. The last Vomero here with 200 miles of use, this is more in that neighborhood of some of these other more standard shoes. 34.8 millimeters or 9 millimeters, so right around 35 millimeters in the back of that old Vomero. So we've gone up significantly. Even if this were fresh out of the box, it would still be probably 36, 37. So a lot more stack, some more weight too with that. Let's also see how the width has evolved because this looks like a huge shoe. And that's the thing with weight. You're going to have weight from the stack height. You're also going to have weight from the width. So in the back here, This is a really wide shoe, 100 millimeters wide in the back. That is wide. If we compare that to the last Vomero, and you can see they've just made this an overall bigger shoe. Last Vomero is 93 millimeters wide in the back only. A Super Max Stack Comfort shoe like the Glycerin Max, that's not even that wide. That's coming in at 97 millimeters wide. So I know this isn't in the structure camp. Nike is saying that the structure camp is that silo is going to be the stability silo, but this seems like it's going to have really good stability because it's pretty firm back here. This entire back piece is firm, and this upper is really structured. And then you have that super wide base with this dip, this cutout in the middle, which typically increases stability as well. Let's compare that to the width of the Invincible. This is also a wide shoe, but super soft. Yeah, this comes in at 104 millimeters wide. So not Nike's widest training shoe compared to the Puma Mag Max. Let's see. 107 millimeters wide. So it has some interesting elements here. It has the width of a Super Max shoe. It has the weight of a Max Cushion shoe. Let's see the stack height in the front. This is the last thing I want to check before we get out there. So right under the forefoot comes in at 28 millimeters tall. Can you see that? And this is what I'm saying about drop. I don't understand how these brands measure drop, because if you look at the Nova Blast right there, you're getting 28, 29 millimeters. But remember, the back of this was around 37 or even 36 with some compression. That makes more sense. With Nike, if you measure this outside, it's up at 50 millimeters of stack height. Now, your foot is going to be sitting within where some of that is, and that's why we came at 46. But I'm not sure where are they taking that 8 millimeter or 10 millimeter drop. Is it right here? Because that's certainly not the forefoot, because that's coming in at 35. That's not the forefoot. That's the midfoot. If you go to the forefoot and where you're going to be pushing off under the ball of your foot, that's around 30. So that's my biggest concern with this shoe, and one of the critiques of Nike in general, and the reason why I'm so surprised and confused, because everyone always wants to review these or see the reviews of the Nike shoes, and then they complain that they're 10 millimeter drops. You know that this is a 10 millimeter drop. Don't complain. But yeah, it is very high drop. It just looks high drop. Look at this compared to the Glycerin Max. If you measure the forefoot of the Glycerin Max here, now your foot's going to be sitting within some of that, but you can see the difference. This thing has 44 millimeters of foam. Again, your foot probably sits in some of that, but there's a big difference in the forefoot. Let's take it at the same exact spot where that rocker curves up, right under where the ball of your foot would be. That's where I was taking it right here. I mean, look at that difference. Again, 28, 29. So that's going to be the biggest concern, but guess what? There's only one way to find out how this thing rides, and that's to lace it up. I was going to have you tell me.
What, if they're fire or not?
Yeah.
I think they're fun.
I feel like it kind of looks like a gym teacher shoe.
Oh, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I think I like how it's like different shades of white.
Mm.
I feel like that makes it look more contemporary.
Refined, yeah.
Yeah.
White, off-white, Tahitian, vanilla, French vanilla.
Yeah, it looks like vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean. It's a vanilla bean
The
color.
black flecks.
Yeah. Alright, it's Charlie certified. I'm undecided. I'm undecided on the looks of these. It's hard to mess up a white colorway. It looks clean, it looks classic, but I don't know, something about it isn't quite hitting. All right, lacing up the Vomero 18. Oh my goodness. This is so padded. Man, if you don't like a big, chunky upper, you're not going to like this. They went for max comfort in this upper. Holy cow, I have a feeling this is going to heat up a lot too. I didn't measure the thickness of the tongue here. I kind of want to do that. because this is such a thick tongue. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'll tell you this right now. This tongue is over 10 millimeters thick. Also, do you know what I mean about the back looking like the Air Monarch? Something about it just has that Air Monarch vibe. Maybe it's just this colorway, or I think it's the way they've done the suede overlay. There's a lot of elements here that are Nike flourishes that you don't need, that are adding weight. But yeah, also on the inside of the Vomero, on the right shoe, it says maximum cushioning. And so this is the base Vomero. They'll have the Plus. I don't think we've seen any leaks of the Plus. Maybe that's the Invincible 4. We have seen some leaks of that. I think maybe the Invincible 4 is becoming the Vomero Plus, and then the Vomero Premium is the crazy shoe with the 2 airbags and all the ZoomX. All right, we have the Vomero 18 laced up here. It seems like they've widened out this toe box a bit. It's not as narrow as some of the other Nike shoes. It's very comfortable. Stepping in here, the upper is extremely comfortable. It does remind me of that Ghost Max vibe. The thing is, it just slants me forward so much. It feels like a running shoe with this 10 millimeter drop. And man, so many brands are moving away from this. All of the ASICS shoes are 8 millimeter drops. Even New Balance in the 880 has gone to a 6 or a 5 millimeter drop in that generation. In the V15, Nike needs to get with the program. Yeah, keep the Pegasus as a 10 millimeter drop, but dude, make these 8 millimeter drops. And as you saw in the lab section, this is higher than a 10 millimeter drop. I have no idea where the 10 is coming from. It feels like I'm wearing a pair of high heels. It's not the tallest shoe on the market. Actually, it might be. There's a lot of stack here. I think the Primex Strung is taller, but it feels very high drop. All right, let's do a walk test. Oh man, initial step-in comfort on this thing is really good. This is a super comfortable shoe. It's not soft and squishy. You can see in the back here as I'm stepping, it's not even really compressing down in the back, but it feels so supportive and so protective in the back. It feels like I'm just floating along here. So this foam is tuned perfectly from comfort. It reminds me a lot of the Ghost Max, the DNA Loft V2, V3 type of foam, where it's not the softest, but it has that compressive density, that just enough compression. It feels super comfortable. It reminds me of the Infinity in a good way, with how suspended off the ground I feel. So lots of protection here, and honestly, the forefoot stack for walking is okay. The problem I have a lot of the times with the 10 millimeter drop shoe is that the forefoot just becomes so thin. This was up at almost 30, so it should be okay. The main issue is just it has that triangle vibe, so we're so far forward. But the way that they've placed the rocker in the front, very slight rocker, means it's not too aggressively slanted for walking. And over time, this heel foam will probably compress. So hopefully the functional drop gets lower. But initial step in, super comfortable. It feels wider. Let me go grab the calipers actually, because I want to do a test. Also, dude, these are just hitting. I have my Lulu joggers on with my hobby jogger hoodie and hobby jogger running hat. It just feels right. But all right, let me measure up here at the toe box. So this is the Pegasus that I have. I don't know if you can see that, but that's about 80 millimeters wide at that point of the toe box. Yeah, the Vomero is 84 millimeters wide. Now, if we go to let's go to the widest part of the toe box. Vomero is 106 millimeters wide. Pegasus is... It's hard to get the same exact point, but... Okay, they seem pretty similar. The fit just feels more forgiving in the Vomero. Maybe it's placebo because I have so much cushion under my foot, but doesn't it look less narrow too? Either way, regardless of what the data say here, let's take our tongue stack measurement while we have it. Yeah, bro, that's a 10 millimeter tongue. 10 millimeter tongue stack, what, 9.72. Regardless of what the data say, you know those people who say, regardless of what the data suggest, this feels so comfortable. One of the most comfortable step-in feels of a while. All right, let's get our miles in. Plan for this morning is 12-mile run out of the box. Perfect test for this thing. It feels so comfortable. I'm really excited to run it. I'm hoping this can just be a solid daily trainer. Could put the miles on it. We can do some strides. We could do short. We could do long. We could do fast. We could do slow. That's what I hope from this. This morning, we're going to get some mileage. Let's do it. Another beautiful day, man. Daffodils in the garden are blooming. Shout out to Bob Atkins, the previous owner of this house, for planting those daffodils. All right, moment of truth here. Jogging in the Vomero 18. All right. Early overreaction here. This feels very 10 millimeter droppy still. I could really feel the rubber biting the ground. That's how I felt up there just walking too. It is comfortable, but it's also heavy. It feels like, this feels like exactly what I would have expected from what we got in the lab. Heavier, cushioned heel. The bounce is pretty good. It's just pretty firm. I honestly think so far, feels like the 17 was softer. And this is my issue with how Nike labels these foams and also this dual foam setup. I feel like I'm getting a lot of the React X. Almost feels like the React X is dampening the bounce from the Zoom X. Yeah, there's a lot of rubber on the bottom here. And feels like there's a lot of React X too, which is probably my least favorite training foam. The first straightaway here, the underfoot comfort is nice. This is a very comfortable shoe with the upper, with the big stack in the heel. The protection's great. Also, there's no ground feel. That was something with the Vomero 17. There was a good degree of ground feel. With this, there's none. It is weird how thick the rubber is because I can feel those nubs biting, which is a classic Nike sensation. And yeah, this foam is just right in that middle zone. Not too soft, not too firm. They've nailed the tuning of it. I've just got to see, is this Zoom X gonna come through and give that bounce? But early overreaction, this is solid. Feels like a solid daily trainer. There's nothing weird about it, which is good. Much better than the Pegasus so far for just $10 more. So if we evaluate this like a standard daily trainer, and if that's what we expect, a standard daily trainer with some comfort, I think this is solid. Give it some miles for the midsole to open up though. The other thing I want to monitor today is how does the React X hold up, because it always seems that it dies on me after an hour.
in the Pegasus, in the Infinity, that it feels good for 30 to 40 minutes, and then an hour in, it just doesn't have juice. But yeah, man, this thing is peppy. So quickening my pace here, picking it up, getting some turnover, there is some bounce. There's some legit bounce. It's not soft, but there's good bounce. That's the one thing. If you're expecting invincible softness, this is not it. It's not a soft shoe. Comfort, yes. Soft, no. Think more Ghost Max or even Mag Max versus Invincible. If you want Invincible, that's the Neo Zen. At mile 1, 7:39 pace. So far, this is firmer than I expected. It's about 6% firmer. Nah, 8% firmer than the last version. The last version had a really nice soft feel from that top layer of ZoomX, but this is also bouncier. So it's firmer and it's bouncier. It feels like it could be decently fast. Now I know they're positioning this as the comfort silo, but this feels like a faster shoe than the Pegasus Premium. The foam has really good pep. It's just you're also getting a gigantic layer of rubber. Yeah, it's also odd how much I can feel the rubber working. I don't think I've talked about an outsole this much ever within the first 10 minutes of a run. Maybe if it were raining or something, or on the trails, but for a road shoe outsole, this is notably chunky. And I can feel it. It almost feels like a road to trail shoe. Might have to measure the lug depth after this. This feels like the Peg Trail 5. Man, I'm locking into a really nice groove with this thing. It definitely still has that I'm gonna go read some Lydiard and crush some mileage feel to it. No nonsense mileage shoe with a 10mm drop. That's what I'm getting so far. This feels like it's gonna break in too. Yeah, it has that classic density to it where I know this foam is gonna get massaged in from all the pounding. 7:17 pace, mile 2. And this is solid, man. This is really solid. I think this might be better than I was expecting. So mile 2 is where I usually am either slamming these shoes or I have a smile on my face. Today I have a smile on my face. This is not a bad shoe. It has that 10mm drop. It's super solid. This feels like if you don't want to obsess over shoes and you just want something comfortable to train for a marathon or to run, and you don't want to worry about technology, foams, rockers, plates, this feels like a shoe I can just confidently say, just get this and you'll be happy. I recommended the Vomero 17 to a lot of people for that. And then I changed my recommendation to the 860, and now I've been recommending the Nova Blast. This is another one where I can just say, just get the Vomero 18. You'll be happy. There's no gimmicks here. It's comfortable, good bounce. It's passing the basic shoe test. We'll have to see on mile 4, because basic shoe test is 30-minute run. But so far, I don't think that's going to be an issue. And the drop isn't terrible because the heel foam is compressing enough. So it's a decently smooth ride too. Yeah, we're cresting the hill of early verdict. And I'm gonna say winner. Solid winner. For the Randall Cobb Vomero. The other thing that's great about Nike is they make all their shoes in big sizes. I know we have a lot of bigger runners, former athletes who watch the channel, size 14, 15. This is gonna be great for you all. My guy Keith, Nike holds it down for the big runners. And it has that comfort. The bounce is there. It's not feeling like a particularly heavy shoe on foot so far. And especially if you're the type of person who wants one shoe to run, walk, go to the gym, etc. This has that normal feel. This is a good one, man. This is a good one. Nike's 2 for 2 recently. Peg Premium and this is just solid. Mile 3, 7:14 pace. The more juice I put into it, the softer and bouncier it feels. The shoe makes me want to start yelling mileage, 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 but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to whisper it. Mileage. It's a mileage shoe. I also think this shoe is going to be really good value. $150. Tons of rubber. So it's going to last forever. And that's a typical Nike quality. They make durable shoes. And the trade-off comes with weight and ride feel. That additional rubber and the sturdiness of the upper build are going to add weight to the shoe. And the rubber does deaden some of that bounce and just gives a different feel, especially at slower paces. When I pick up the pace, it's not as noticeable. But the trade-off is value. Nike didn't make this for shoe sickos who have 13 daily trainers already. This is the type of shoe for someone who wants one shoe that will last 3 years. That's this thing. Comfortable shoe that will last a long time, that will do anything you need it to. Yeah, past mile 4 here, so this passes the basic shoe test with flying colors. And overall, just a solid update. This is what you want, right? Keep the spirit of the line, keep the spirit of the Vomero franchise, which is to be a comfortable workhorse with more cushion than the Pegasus. It accomplishes that, adds more comfort, looks better. They dropped the price, $10. Can't complain about this one. Very little to complain about here. My biggest concern so far is probably the upper. That's the one area of weakness. It's about 55 degrees American. I do have thicker socks on, but I can feel my foot heating up. This is not breathable. So I'll monitor that. That is the one thing with summer running right around the corner. The upper on the Pegasus Premium was so good. But again, $150 here, so can't complain. Actually, you kind of can. You can put a lightweight upper that's low cost. It is so much better than the Pegasus. What makes me mad about the Pegasus is that it's not super expensive, but it is $140 for someone who doesn't buy running shoes is expensive. Normal shoes are $100. Normal walking sneakers. So it's $140. They put it out at Dick's without any discounts when you can find it cheaper. And the ride is horrendous compared to every other big brand's $140 shoe. But it's the name. It's the Coca-Cola of daily trainers. Except imagine if Coca-Cola tasted like dip spit. I've got two aphorisms popping in my mind right now. The first is, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And everybody's going up in stack, making shoes wider, foams are getting softer, new brands are hitting the market. What's old is new. Nike's hottest shoe right now is the Vomero 5. But guess what? The more things change, the more they stay the same. This is still a 10mm drop workhorse that's gonna last forever. The other aphorism that was popping in my mind, or expression, saying is, be careful what you ask for. We all complain about the 10mm drop. We complain about the weight. We complain about this and that. Look what happened to the Cielo V2. Some of these elements that make these shoes quirky, like the 10mm drop on the Nikes, also make them good. And the heavier weight, the sturdier feel, that also makes this shoe good for what it's trying to do. The point being, bringing both of those things up, we got to look at these shoes for what they're trying to do. And Nike's always been about performance and emotion, emotional feel. This shoe has that feel that makes me want to run, and it's performing really well so far. We're halfway through, and I'm just knocking them out. 710, 715, 714, no nonsense shoe. This is a good one. We got a dang hill right here. I'm gonna just let these last miles come. We got blooms, pink blooms. That was Mr. Windflow himself. This is basically what I was hoping for out of the Glycerin 22. That thing was terrible. But same 10mm drop, similar weight. Both are dual foam, except this one looks solid at the least. That one looks like a skin disease. And it rides like a broken skateboard. I found it sitting in the passenger seat of my Jeep for 2 weeks. Because I'm going to return it to Dick's. I don't think I've ever returned a shoe. That one is going back. Hopefully Dick's will take it. I don't know what their return policy is like. Man, I'm 3 days off that speed workout. My legs still feel like trash, especially on these hills. I was supposed to do that last speed workout today, but moved it to next week. Mile 10 here. It's still solid, but this is what I was scared of. I am getting more of that Infinity Run React X vibe as we get deeper into this run. It feels the bounce is decreasing and it's firming up, which is a classic React X property. For me, React X maxes out around 40 minutes to an hour. The Zoom X's might be saving it though, we'll see. I honestly don't even know what Zoom X means anymore. Does it mean soft? Does it mean expensive? Does it mean fast? I think it means nothing, because if you start slapping Zoom X on everything, then nothing is Zoom X. Maybe Zoom X is the friends we made along the way.
There we go, man. I just had to walk inside to grab the camera battery. I might like these for more for walking than I do for running. It is a super comfortable shoe for walking. It just feels great underfoot, this foam here. It's the perfect amount of cushion and nice geometry for walking. It's just for running, well, let's get into that in a second. 12 miles, 7:17 pace, 1 hour, 27 minutes, 29 seconds. For running, man, this is just a classic Nike. It has so many classic Nike elements to it. It looks like a classic Nike. It feels like a classic Nike on foot. It runs like a classic Nike. Yeah, I can tell I need a down week right now. I think next week will probably be... Dude, I can't get over how much this looks like an Air Monarch from the back. It is uncanny. That's crazy. I wonder if they were going for some of that retro aesthetic because of how much the Vomero 5 is popping off right now. But yeah, I could tell I need a down week. I've needed a down week for probably the last 2 weeks, but spring break is coming up for Mason, so that will be my forced down week. This is why I don't always take down weeks and take lower mileage days when I have the time to run, because most of the time, more often than not, I will get a down week built in. I haven't taken one under 100 since Christmas, New Year's, so I've knocked together 7 or 8 straight 100-mile weeks. But I could feel at the end of the run, I was getting tired. I think I was holding on to a decent pace, but this has the same feel as the Pegasus and the Infinity Run, where I'm just not quite sure it's going to hold up to the mileage. It passes that basic daily trainer test first 30, 40 minutes, and then I just don't know. What's that expression?
Be yourself because everybody else is taken. I'm just coming with the straight cliches and aphorisms today. Be yourself because everybody else is taken. Nike knows who it is. That's clear to me. These last few releases I've tried from Nike, Pegasus Premium, this, they've been on point in terms of delivering the Nike feel. Charlie always makes these healthy pancakes. This is whole wheat flour. There's not a lot of sugar in it. This could really use some butter and maple syrup. Or some jam. It's dry too. That's my own fault because I decided to eat a cold pancake. You know what I read recently? Apparently, the whole glycogen refueling window, 30 to 60 minutes, is only important if you're gonna have another session within the next, I think it was 12 to 24 hours, which I always do. I'm gonna run this afternoon again. But if you have a normal everyday run and then you're not gonna run to the next morning, it's not a huge deal if you don't eat until 2 hours. Now for me, it just makes my mood so much worse. But it's good to know you can always get those calories later in the day and you'll be fine. Yeah, man, Vomero 18. This is as classic gets. Look at this. It has the vanilla upper with the buttercream midsole. We got 12 miles in it. Let's throw it up. And this is what I was saying. The last thing I said on this run, the last thing I was thinking is, what the heck does ZoomX mean? Does ZoomX mean fast? Does it mean soft? Does it mean expensive? Does it mean a combination of those things? But for starters, fast, potentially. If ZoomX is, that's probably the closest meaning to what it is. It's in the Peg Plus. It's in the Alpha Fly, Vaporfly. It's also in the Peg Premium, which is not a fast shoe, but it has a bounce to it. I think that's the core of what Nike wants ZoomX to be, that bounciness. The thing is, with their new product architecture, Vomero is supposed to be cushion and comfort, yet they're putting the fast bounce foam in here. It doesn't make sense. The other thing is, does it mean expensive? Well, in the Peg Plus, yes, it does mean expensive because that's $180. This theoretically should have just as much ZoomX because it's a max stack shoe, but it's $150. So Nike does some things that don't make sense. Regardless of the price, regardless of the name, let's talk about the ride. This was actually a really solid shoe. Let's throw up the run today, 12 miles at a nice aerobic pace. It didn't feel too nice because I actually think I've been fighting something off too. If you saw the Boston 13 video on Sunday, I did my long run in that, and then I had to go to a kid's birthday party, and I was right in the ball pit. And if there's one recipe for getting sick, it's going to be around a bunch of sick kids right after your long run, because anytime you do a harder session, your immune system is compromised. You have to recover and rebound. So I think I picked something up and I've been fighting it off all week, which is fine. Point being, I was still able to hit some decent paces, and this feels like a daily trainer. For the first 30 to 40 minutes, it felt solid. There's some good bounce to it. It reminds me a lot of a Ghost Max type of shoe where the midsole is comfortable and it squishes down, but it is not soft at all. And that brings me to the other question with ZoomX. Does ZoomX mean soft? Do not go into this shoe thinking it's going to be a soft shoe. This is not a soft shoe. If you want an Invincible replacement, well, you could just buy another Invincible. You can find them on sale at a lot of places. But the best Invincible replacement I would suggest is the Mizuno Neo Zen. That's $150 MSRP. Very soft, very bouncy, really fun. Great rocker. Might even be better than the Invincible in terms of the ride it delivers. Lighter weight than the Invincible with more stacks. So that's awesome. Another good option would be the New Balance Balos. That's hit or miss for me, but you can get that for $140 on Running Warehouse with our Supwell app discount code. It's $160 on sale, and the Supwell app discount code brings it down to $140 or $143. So those would be my two top replacements for the Invincible. An Invincible, this is not. It is closer to an Infinity. It's almost the best version of what the Infinity run could be. It's lighter than the Infinity. That thing was up around 340, 350 grams in my size. This is around 320. It has way more bounce to it from the midsole that's in here. It feels like a higher stack Nike Pegasus. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the run. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Nike is leaning into what makes them them. It has that 10 millimeter drop feel. You still do get some degree of connection in the front here. Even though it's a lot of stack, almost 30 millimeters of stack, you still do feel some connection to the road. And with how thick this outsole is, it's actually wild how thick and lugged and nubby this outsole is. It bites the ground and gives you even more of that feel on the bottom here. It's ironic because you would think the thicker this is, the less connected it feels, but you get more of that, the teeth biting the ground in the front here. So nice cushion. My one concern with it was that as we got deeper into the run, and again, this is something that happens with the Pegasus, this is something that happens with the Infinity, it's a classic React X issue. You can see they have React X printed right here. The more miles that I put on it within one run, the less it starts to feel good, which is the opposite of an FF Blast Max that we would see in a Nova Blast. With that shoe, and with the Nova Blast in general, the more miles I put on it in a run, the better it starts feeling. With this, some of those weight concerns and just whatever compound in here, it starts maxing out for me around an hour, which I did feel today. Now, I do want to get some more miles in it. This is just the first run. It was just 12 miles. And again, I can tell I need a down week. I need to cut some of the volume. My legs don't feel that great. I was still able to hit some decently quick daily paces in it, but it doesn't feel on the same tier as other brands and other race foams. It doesn't feel like a Puma Mag Max Nitro in terms of the balance and in terms of the protection to weight ratio. This has more of that squish to it and less of the bounce the further we get into the run. It doesn't feel like a Mizuno Neo Zen with the softness of a Zoom X. That's not what you're getting in here. But the good qualities are the protection is good. And the Infinity Run also has great protection. That's the unofficial shoe of NFL sideline coaches. And this looks like it's going to take that. So the comfort is top notch. Let's go through our 3 questions that we love to answer on these first run reviews, which is first, how does this compare to its intended purpose? Now, this is designed to be a cushioned everyday running shoe, a taller stack alternative to the Nike Pegasus. Now, Nike Pegasus is 140. This is 150. It does a great job at that. It feels cushioned. It feels comfortable. The foam feels versatile enough. As I was warming up into the run, it let me do my thing. And it's not explosively bouncy and it's not the most exciting ride, but for an everyday shoe designed for somebody who wants one shoe, one sneaker for running, for comfort, for walking. Again, that's the brief of the Vomero. Give me comfort cushion. Give me a max cushion shoe. That's normal. It does a great job at that. It doesn't feel weird on foot. This is one of the most comfortable Nikes, if not the most comfortable Nike I've tried. Different to the Pegasus Premium is that is a super fun shoe, different feeling shoe, but it's weird. The airbag is weird, and that's the great quality to it. Again, we have to appreciate things for what they are. We have to appreciate the quirks because a lot of the times the quirks are going to make a shoe great. In the Pegasus Premium, the quirkiness and instability of that airbag also made it really fun and different and special. With this, it just feels normal. It's in that job doer normal category of a Glycerin 21. That would be a very similar comparison to this actually, 10 millimeter drop. And with how bad the Glycerin 22 is, I would recommend this over that. But Clifton 8, that's another great, or Clifton 10, they're now on the Clifton 10, right? Great example of a similar shoe. Bondi 9, I actually think I prefer the Bondi 9 after the first run, but that's the category of shoe this is in. Ghost Max 2, normal comfort cushion. You can use it for walking, you can use it for everyday use, and for someone who just wants one shoe, who's not gonna be nitpicking at rubber feel, who's not gonna be running 90 minutes in it ever, if maybe once a month or once in its lifespan, that's what it's great for, right? This is the shoe it's supposed to be. You get it, maybe you run 45 minutes, maybe you run 20 minutes a few times a week, you get it to the gym. If that's what you're looking for in a shoe, you're gonna love it. Now, the second question that I always answer in these analyses is, how does this compare to the other shoes in this category? And this is where it becomes clear to me. Again, Nike, they have a lot of products, and they have the Vaporfly, they have the Alphafly, they have some shoes. I think the Vomero Premium is going to be one of these shoes that's targeting the sickos, that's targeting the enthusiasts. This, to me, does not feel like it is targeting the enthusiasts or even high mileage runners. This feels more of an entry level into
comfort and cushion in a way that the Invincible, that was unique because it had such a tall stack of that non-plated unstable foam that it attracted the enthusiasts, it attracted the running shoe sickos and the hobby joggers, but at the same time, because it was Nike and it was at the time their most comfortable, cushioned, expensive shoe, it also attracted people who are using it just for walking and everyday use. This, to me, compared to the other shoes in the category, the Ghost Max 2, the Hoka Skyflow even, the Hoka Bondi, we could put both of those in there, and then also going up to more of the Max Stack shoes like the Puma Mag Max and the Glycerin Max. This feels like it's gonna be loved less and appreciated less by the sickos because it has that more normal feel. There is nothing exceptional about it. The bounce was good, and I'd be perfectly happy taking this. We're considering going on a trip for spring break. I would be perfectly happy taking this. Now, if I were doing any workouts, I wouldn't want to take this, but hey, throw this in the suitcase with a race shoe. Maybe your old marathon race shoe, you have an old pair of Alpha Flies or an old pair of Saucony Endorphin Elite, and you're gonna pick this up for your trip. That would be a great rotation. You could use this likely on the treadmill. You can use it for walking around. It looks great for dad drip, wherever you might need to go, the beach and all those different shenanigans you get into. Just do not spill in a acai bowl. You do not want to spill in a acai bowl on this upper. That would be very sad. That's the one thing about this white upper where I'm just, I want to use this for dad drip, but at the same time, there's gonna be drips on it, and then it will be sad, and then it will be sad drip. I had to get in one dad joke. Yeah, versus almost every other brand shoe that would be going up against this. What would the ASIC shoe be? It's hard, right? Because this is $150. There's not a lot of shoes that are actually $150. The Ghost Max is one of them, and the new Clifton is one of them, the 10 that's coming out in April. But most shoes are either $140 or $160. So in ASIC's lineup, we can look at either the Nova Blast 5 or the Nimbus. Again, the Nimbus feels more specialized. The Nimbus feels way softer than this. It has more of a running rocker on it. This feels like more of a do-it-all versatile shoe that's going to be supportive and particularly good for carrying a lot of weight or mass. If you're a stronger, more powerful runner, an athlete, someone who likes Nike and you want the protection, this is going to be good. So it's more of a versatile do-it-all shoe. It's less specialized than anything else that I can think of in the category at $150, $160. Even the Ghost Max 2, that's more designed for running because the Glycerin is the do-it-all shoe. So that's a pretty close comparison. This might be Nike's Glycerin now, in a way that they never quite had one before. The Infinity Run tried to do it, but that was always almost the runt of the litter, the little brother or little sister that got bullied. Nobody liked the Infinity other than those NFL sideline coaches. Now that they're slapping the Vomero name on this and they're putting the Zoom X in here, this is going to get more adoption. So I would think of this as a combination of what made the last Vomero great, which was that workhorse character. You could put a lot of miles on it, not in one run, but durability. And that's the ironic part. It's going to be great over time. This shoe will last 3-4 years probably and feel fine. But in one run, it didn't feel awesome once I got past 10 miles. And I will do more high mileage testing, but for me, this is likely going to max out at 8 to 10 miles. It's just, I thought there was a kid. There's either a kid or a chicken in my yard. Yeah, this is probably going to max out at 8 to 10 miles for me, just comparing it to everything else. But if I could identify one transcendent quality, one thing that is so much better is it is extremely comfortable. And for walking, the support, the stability, it has just enough width in the back here to make it a really comfortable shoe. And then the protection is just great. So that's the element of this that's better than the shoes in the category. I'd take this over the Nimbus. I put it right up there with the Bondi. I'm gonna have to do more testing on it. Maybe I'll even do that later today. Get a walk test and a casual test, but extremely comfortable in terms of what you want a sneaker to offer. It's just for that specialized running. It's falling flat for me in terms of giving an awesome high mileage running experience, which is what I try to find. I get the most excited a lot of times about the shoes that I can use for my training and put a lot of miles on. But if you're maxing out at 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour for runs, this is going to be great. Super comfortable shoe. But last question here, how does this compare to everything else on the market? Now, $150, that feels like a really fair price to me. And especially considering that this is going to be super durable, and especially considering that you get more stack in it, more comfort and protection than the last generation, and they dropped the price, that's great. This is almost as tall as the Puma Mag Max. And if you're looking for a shoe to go 30 minutes, if you're looking for an everyday sneaker, this is going to be a really good buy. I also think you'll be able to find it at the outlets in 2 months for $110. And you know Nike, right? They released 4 or 5 colorways of this. As soon as they released the summer colorways in June, all of these ones are going to be slashed on Running Warehouse. You can even find the Pegasus Premium right now, or the Pegasus Plus right now. You can find that slashed because they turn over the colorways. You'll be able to find this. So this is a great value compared to everything else on the market. A speed shoe, it is not. The stop this shoe, it is not. But a job doer, it is. Probably the most comfortable Nike I have ever tested. Not the most fun Nike I've ever tested. Not the fastest Nike I've ever tested, but a really solid shoe. And with their redefinition of their product lineup, going structure for stability and support, Pegasus for responsiveness, what they're calling responsiveness or bounce, and Vomero for comfort, this makes sense. This feels like an awesome entry into comfort, and it has me even more excited for what a Vomero Plus could be, or a Vomero Premium could be. It's just we always have to remember the first question that I ask in these analyses, which is how does this compare to its intended purpose, which is to be that still basic and approachable, comfortable shoe. If you go into it buying it with that in mind, you will be happy. If you go into it expecting a Super Blast competitor because you see the Race Foam name stamped here, or you go into this expecting it to be that Invincible replacement. Had to make sure my cords were plugged in. Could you imagine if the cords weren't plugged in? That would be sad. But if you go into it expecting either of those things, you are going to be let down. It's on the heavier side for a daily trainer. It's right up there with the More V5s and the Nimbus for weight. It is a max cushion comfort shoe with a 10 millimeter drop, designed for everyone to have a comfortable option. It's the everyman's max cushion shoe. And for that, it does a great job. It's a big old thumbs up for the first run for me. I still have to see how I'm going to use it in my personal rotation. That's the question mark for me. But for most people, if you're looking for a comfortable sneaker, bang! This is a good shoe. I'm going to give it a solid good shoe rating. That's all I have for you today. Down here, I'm going to refuel. Maybe I'll do some more shenanigans. And guess what? We're going to be back tomorrow with another video. I'm probably going to keep it rolling, but I just have to say it now because I always say it. Oh, gosh dang, bro. I gotta film the IG review. I forgot. Oh. Go follow the IG. Sup while running, sup while running, sup while running, sup while running.
Yeah, man, one more thing. Nike is just, I still feel they're a step behind when it comes to their midsole technology. Not a step behind compared to Zara, but compared to Adidas, let's see. Let's go back over here to our training shoe wall. Yeah, compared to Asics, right? FF Blast Max, this is a much better compound. Where's the new Nimbus? Yeah, this is a much better compound. Now, that Zoom X might break in, but it's just, yeah, compared to even the Puma Mag Max or even the Bandai 9, these all feel like more advanced foams, lighter weight, more bounce. They have the protection with the speed capability. Even this thing, I was able to get it going. So I like it. It's a solid shoe so far. Let's look at that thing, and it looks fire. It's just I still feel Nike is a tier B with their foams right now. It's a good shoe, but it's not giving me anything I've never had before. I think a lot of people are going to like it, and I do like it. We don't need everything to be super exciting. It's just, I need to point it out. I need to point out that this version of Zoom X it's not super special. But man, it's a comfortable shoe, and the more I look at it, the more I like it. That's a classic. It looks like a higher stack Pegasus, and it felt great too. I think I'm going to get some more miles in it this afternoon. The upper almost looks like an Air Max upper. All right, refuel time. Those healthy pancakes were actually solid. I'm going to put 2 of these in the toaster. Toast them up. And we got to get them wet. They were way too dry. Go butter. And let's see. Yeah, this is the breakfast candy jam from our friends at Best Jam Ever. So good. Raspberry amaretto. So that's going to be the refuel part A. And then I think Charles meal prepped. Because yesterday it was looking dark in here. She always gets mad at me for ordering, but there was no food. So I ordered a breakfast burrito. It was fire. But yeah, she meal prepped some pasta. So I'll have that for lunch. Bang! Refuel par 1. Let's go. Oh, one other shoe. As I'm buttering this, one other shoe that this is reminding me of. And a shoe that I think fell out of the hobby jogger community recommendation list for some reason is the New Balance More V5. I think the Glycerin Max and the Mag Max just buried it because the More V5 came out around, I think I got my pair early July, and then the Mag Max came out August and Glycerin Max came out August, around that, so it just got buried. The Mag Max and the Glycerin Max can do a lot more than the More V5, but if you found the More V5 too soft, and you don't like the idea of how much cushion and craziness are in the Mag Max and the Glycerin Max, you might like that Vomero 18 because it doesn't feel so crazy. See, bro, even when I'm not working, I'm out here with the best jam ever, just still thinking about stack. Medium boy refuel going on here for lunch. We have pasta. I did use the dreaded microwave because honestly, I don't have that much time and I didn't plan ahead. I probably could have just put this in the cast iron, but I didn't do that today. I did microwave. I'm gonna get some electrolytes in the Slug Life water bottle. I've been rocking with the Element, I think it's watermelon salt. So bang. That was actually my last one. I didn't realize the box is deceivingly large. Well, I'll pour some of these in. I try to do at least one electrolyte pack a day. And especially as we're getting into the spring and summer months, it just gets more and more important to get those electrolytes in. But you know what? Water and calories, if you're getting the right calories, you're putting the salt on your food and everything, you should be able to get most of your electrolytes through your normal diet, but it's just an insurance policy. And also sometimes just having the second bottle filled with the electrolytes, it helps me drink more fluids in general versus just having the water, because then I rotate it. And you already know what we got going down over here. Supwell Barista afternoon coffee. This is the Thermal Shock coffee of the year right here. So that's the lunch. I got to clean up here. See you for the second run. All right, time for run number 2. Now, something interesting I just saw on the Supwell app from my guy Barrett, our designer. I didn't see this post when it first went up. There's so many posts, I don't read everything all the time when it first goes up. But he made this post yesterday about how he's getting tired of recovery type of shoes and super soft shoes. Now, I've felt this for a while. I don't love super soft, squishy, mushy shoes all the time. The Neo Zen was an exception, but for the past 4, 5, 6 months, I haven't been loving super soft shoes either. And I think for a lot of people who are tired of soft max stack, this is going to be a nice switch up. And on that thread that Barrett started on the Supwell app, somebody actually commented that. They said that the Vomero, they got it early. They've been using this for their recovery runs, and they're liking how it's feeling. And it did give me some juice with this midsole. It does have a nice bit of bounce to it, so
we'll see how it feels for the second run. This is going to be a 30-minute recovery run. I am more tired, so we'll just see how it goes. See if it is that great recovery shoe. Let's do it.
All right, there we go. That's decent mileage for a first day. Didn't get 20. It would be nice to get a 20-mile day, but 16-mile day out of the box in the Vomero 18. Look at that, 7:30 pace. And I was thinking I was going to be a lot slower bopping along. The thing is, it's warmer, so it encourages. I think I just run faster when it's warm like this versus super cold. And these shoes are pretty bouncy. They almost feel like one of those Zone 3 champion type of shoes. Not as fast as an Evo SL. And dude, I cannot unsee the Monarch thing on the back. I just feel like I'm running in a pair of Monarchs right now. The back is uncanny. But yeah, the clear takeaway for me here today is the most exciting thing about this shoe is that it's new. That's the most exciting thing about this shoe. This is not an exciting ride type of shoe. You see ZoomX and we get all excited. It's really not the crazy bounce that you might be expecting. It's not an Invincible. If you want exciting and wacky, that's going to be the Peg Premium. This thing is a really solid, stable, cruising type of shoe. And it is on the firmer side. It's firmer than the Vomero 17, way firmer than the Invincible, but the comfort is great. Reminds me a lot of Ghost Max 2, Glycerin 21. I've said it a bunch of times, but it warrants being said again. If you want something super exciting and soft, that's not it. But if you're looking for, maybe you're like Barrett and you're getting sick and tired of super soft shoes for recovery miles, you want to switch up, you want something that's comfortable, and you don't like the idea of running in a pair of Brooks Glycerin 21 because disgusting. It came out 2 years ago. Also, Glycerin is for losers. Nike is for cool people. Then yeah, this is going to be great. So if you're a shoe sicko and you want a firmer recovery shoe that's not as crazy as the Mag Max, this could be it. Could also be a good daily trainer for a lot of people and all around a solid shoe. So that's my takeaway. First run, first day. This is a really solid shoe by Nike. Good job. They did not mess it up. They also did not make it a crazy banger. It's a really solid pick. Great value at $150, and I'm looking forward to doing some more comparisons and additional mileage testing on this thing. I think it probably will find a place in the rotation. Not sure if it's going to dethrone the Mag Max. It's also $30 cheaper than the Mag Max, but that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you watching. Guess what? I'll be back tomorrow, baby. And tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and the tomorrow after that.